we are going to have conversations that matter. Today, we are joined by IPS Officer Charu Sinha. She's popularly known as Lady Singham or Charu Sinha. 3 decades of experience in policing. She has wide variety of experience, be it terrorism, Naxalism, factionism, and now handling corruption. Thank you, ma'am, for joining us today.
Thank you.
How are you today?
I'm good, thank you.
Normally, in movies, we watch that a sincere officer comes in, wipes out the corruption. You have been creating records with ACB that way. Would you like to speak about that?
So recently in the second quarter of this year, we did break a record of sorts. I think the number of cases we recorded in this quarter compared to the corresponding quarters of all the previous years was the highest in ACB's recorded history, that is since 1983. But we realized that this record has probably been broken since the formation of ACB in 1961. The reason being that since from 61 to 83, we don't exactly have all the records, and at that point of time, the number of cases were not very high either. So we've broken all records since 1961. It's good. I'm happy with it because it's an indication that the people are coming forward and not accepting corruption anymore. Recently, we had a case in which the man was insistent that the officer who was asking money, and he was asking 2,000 rupees only, but this man was so insistent that we should register a case. So we went ahead and did it, and I was happy, though the amount seemed small, and anyone could have shelled out that much amount to get a work done. But I was happy that this man was not willing to accept it.
So what should people be aware of when they are reaching out to ACB?
So the most important part for people to understand is that at any point of time, if the people are ready to complain against someone who is demanding money from any government office, then they can approach the local ACB immediately. And it is up to them whether they are willing to give a complaint and get the concerned government official trapped or not. Sometimes we get letters from people. They level general allegations, and the general allegations don't help us much. So then they might feel that we're not doing anything about it. But if they have specific information and they can send that to us, then we can really conduct an inquiry also into the matter.
Now, you are also handling CID portfolio. Economic offences is one major area of concern. What are the 3 kinds of scams that people should be aware of?
So I think when we take a look at every district profile and when we take a look at the kinds of frauds which people usually get lured into, one is the chit funds, which everybody has to be careful about. They should not invest in any chit fund which is not a registered body under the Chit Funds Act. And they should not invest money hoping that they will get a great return, and any abnormal percentage promised definitely is a red flag. Similarly, job frauds or visa frauds, and these are becoming very common. I find lots of advertisements online, whether it's on Facebook or Insta handle. I find a lot of advertisements just being floated around for promising great jobs with great salaries. One has to be very careful about these frauds. Always remember that for a job, it's the other side, the employer, which has to pay you. You don't have to pay in order to get a job. And that's the basic fundamental which everybody needs to remember. So if somebody is being asked to pay 1 lakh or 5 lakhs to get a job, that's a red flag, which they have to be very cautious about. And the third one, I would say, is different kinds of investment frauds. So let's say a company has been floated and they're asking for investments, saying that they are linked in some way to some of the topmost companies in the country. Could be Reliance, could be Tata's, etc., etc. Until and unless that is verified and checked out, I don't think any investments should be taken up.
So there are 2 kinds of issues, scams that are happening. When it comes to younger generation, it's the online betting, online gaming. Yeah. And when it comes to senior citizens, it's the parcels and the couriers. Yeah. So how do we bridge that? Because both of them currently need to understand that there is a digital scam happening. Yeah.
So the senior citizens, I've often found that somehow they get scared when somebody calls them and says that your PAN card or your details have been found in a particular courier transaction, and your details, your address, your phone number is linked to this transaction, and therefore you need to pay up so much for whatever reasons. Now, the most important part for all senior citizens to understand is that any call which is from an unknown number, let them not pick it up at all. In fact, that's what I tell my parents also, not to entertain any call. See, we have the numbers of all our friends and relatives, right? Any unknown number not to be entertained. Any unknown link is not to be pressed. And if somebody wants to reach out to you, they'll send you a message, either a WhatsApp or a SMS, and then you can contact them back again if required. But what's important for us to understand, and particularly senior citizens to understand, is there are people who call up and say that, oh, 20 years back, you had something in LIC and that has matured now. You've probably forgotten about it, but we need to pay you 15 lakhs, for which you have to pay us 5 lakhs first.
Okay.
All these villages like Jamtara, we have almost a dozen such villages in the country now, particularly in Rajasthan, Punjab, Haryana border, and of course Bihar. And the full-time job of these youngsters in the village is to conduct such kind of frauds, to perpetrate these kind of frauds. They are well versed in how to operate cell phones. They are well versed in how to hack into your passwords, etc., etc. And we have to be very careful with them. And for the youngsters, those who are very, very used to online transactions, I think that's one area they need to be cautious about, particularly about, I would say, the online multi-level marketing schemes which are floating around, where they don't have a outlet in every city for selling whatever goods they're promising, and they don't have any overhead costs that way, but they are asking you to enroll somebody else into a scheme. So if you enroll 5 members, in turn, each one of them enrolls 5 members. Any kind of enrollment of any other members is a multi-level marketing scheme, a Ponzi scheme, which is banned in the country, and the youngsters need to understand that they have to keep away from all this.
One more thing in CID is about the cell phones that are being stolen. Telangana has set records on recovering cell phones. So how do you see that despite recovering so many phones, still the theft is happening? How do you see this thing?
I think there are many people who, when they get a chance to just pick up something which they see is expensive and they feel that they can sell it off and make a quick buck, and that takes care of some of their expenses. That's the only reason why one explains this, because I've seen this even in trains when people travel and they just keep their cell phone there on the dashboard in the center. And in 5 minutes, the phone is gone. And now, whom do they ask? It's only the other 4 people who are there or 6 people who are there in the compartment. But why do people need to do this? It's just to make a quick buck, because people do buy a lot of expensive phones these days. And so they get sold off at a huge price. And so that's the only reason. But yes, at least with the Central Equipment Identity Register, with the CEIR portal which is there, the moment a cell phone goes, the people can immediately get it registered on that portal, and that helps.
Does it have a golden hour, ma'am, on within how much time they should reach out?
Ideally, as soon as it happens, but they can do it in 2-3 hours.
2-3 hours, okay. Now, you are also heading the Women's Safety Wing. Yeah. There are multiple initiatives you have taken up. Yeah. Firstly, let's talk about Stand With Her campaign. You have taken it very personally. How is it going?
I think the videos have come out well, which try to describe the theme of the month. The panel discussions are going very well. And now we are in the process of starting TOTs with different colleges and universities after a tie-up with the education department. And so we're looking forward to that. Those TOTs are very crucial, because those TOTs will help each college to actually see these panel discussions, see these videos on the theme of the month. And then we would like the college students to decide for themselves what behavior is acceptable to them on their campuses, in their classrooms, in their hostels, and what behavior is not acceptable anymore. We would now like them to start drawing this line very clearly, because all these lines have got blurred.
The Stand With Her campaign itself is that asking men to stand with her.
Yeah.
Do you think people will come out and stand?
They already do, actually. It's just that it goes unnoticed. And these are everyday heroes who go unnoticed. So there are many people whom we come across who either in classrooms or, even on the road, on the streets, I find that there are men who speak up. But as I said, that volume is not huge. The numbers are not very huge. So maybe that's the reason why we have not succeeded in actually bringing about the mindset change that is required. So the Stand With Her campaign intends to initiate conversations in different spaces.
Did you see any young boy asking you a question related to this?
Yes, oh yes, and they would come up and share their experiences about how their classmate was facing an issue and how they stood up for her, or how a sister was facing an issue. Within family members, yes, men usually do stand up for family members, but I appreciate it more when you stand up for a stranger. When you're going in a bus and there's somebody misbehaving with a girl, you see that she's uncomfortable. Can you just speak up and say, please move aside, she's uncomfortable? Or can you ask her that, ma'am, why don't you come this side? You'll be more comfortable here. So can people speak up and stand up for her is the question, because this bystander syndrome is the reason why large number of men get away with what they do under the cover of anonymity. And again, online, when we talk about this syndrome, your own friend might be actually forwarding a picture of your own classmate after morphing it, or maybe changing it in some way which is not very complimentary. So do you keep quiet, or can you tell your friend, let's not do this, it's not nice, after all she's our classmate? When men rate women in their classes or in their organization office space where women are working, when they rate them as, who is the best looking or who has the best figure and things like that, then can you just speak up and say, this is not right, let's not do this, after all they're colleagues we work with every day?
This is something that has been normalized about rating people. But do you think women are also apprehensive to tell what they are facing?
I think both men and women need to have more conversations with each other. In one village in Bihar, I had seen one NGO working, where this NGO just asked the young adolescents in the village to get together once a week. And they provided them a space there, something like a community hall, and the boys and girls came together. And the first 3 months, they would not talk to each other because they didn't know how to talk to each other. And that is the case with thousands and lakhs of students. Because there are no co-ed, colleges everywhere and in every state, and people feel it's safer to send a girl to a girls' college or a girls' school and things like that. So we find that men and women actually don't know how to talk to each other. So a boy, probably he has spent his whole life without talking to anyone outside his family, and then he suddenly gets married.
Okay.
And then he gets into a relationship with a woman, and he really doesn't know how to talk to her or deal with her or understand her. And that is what creates, problems when we see our counselors grappling with different kinds of issues. We find that communication is the main issue. And so in this little village in Bihar, after 3 months, when they started talking to each other, after a lot of hesitation, then we found that the boys the girls told the boys that when we pass by that road and 4-5 of you are always standing there near that small pan ka dukan, and you keep passing comments on us and we don't like it. So the boys said, oh, why didn't you tell us before? We thought you liked it, and therefore we were passing those comments trying to draw your attention. And believe me, after that day, the eve teasing in the village stopped completely. And that NGO covered a lot of villages, and I really appreciate this work because it's a very simple thing.
All they did was talking.
Yeah. Initiating conversations, providing that platform to young adolescent boys and girls so that they can understand each other better and learn to open up. And this is something which I really feel is a need of the day, because even in colleges today, when I see, I had gone to a college recently and I really found that the girls were again separate, the boys were again separate. There's still no communication or conversation, and whatever is there, if a guy and a girl are talking, then there's a lot of giggles from behind or a lot of comments, and it's just not normal and healthy.
So we also notice the use of abuses by young children these days at protests, at home, everywhere.
Yeah.
So And this is also
Yeah.
going to online as well, where they are abusing.
Yeah.
What do you think should be done to stop this, or at least guide them in a proper way?
I think parents really need to check what kind of online presence their children have. And we have not taught our children what is digital consent, what is digital respect, what is digital dignity or digital empathy. I mean, the online space has become a free for all now. Almost uncontrollable, I would say. Nobody has any control over what somebody is saying. I think recently there was a video, and the young boy, hardly a 19, 20-year-old boy, who had posted a video of a girl, telling a girl, he had posted a video to a girl, telling her how he's going to rape her. Now, where does this come from? Where does this mindset come from? And this, I mean, did he really think he will get away with it? And this is where this so-called guts comes from, that you abuse anyone you want. If you really are a good human being, will you be abusing the same person you're abusing online if he or she was standing next to you or in front of you? I think it's just a reflection of what kind of human beings we are raising, maybe human beings who don't have that emotional connect, and they don't have basic respect for the other person. That's a matter of concern.
Because you were saying that parents need to check, and do you think a lot of parents are aware that this is right, this is wrong? Are they digitally
they
aware?
do know that what is right and wrong, but I think they don't check. And particularly my worry is about the semi-urban and the rural areas. What's happening there? There the parents really don't have the time also, because they're out for work the whole day and they don't have time to come and check what their son is doing all the time. And then children are very secretive with their phones, etc., etc. So they don't have time for all this. So the semi-urban and the rural areas becomes a matter of concern along with the urban areas.
In the urban areas, in IT companies, because there are a lot in Hyderabad, you have started an initiative similar to POSH. So, how is it progressing?
It's the POSH help desk that we have started in the women's safety wing, where my concern was that I found quite a few girls leaving their jobs because they could not tolerate the harassment at workplace. And they said that they were refusing to complain because they wouldn't get a referral letter from this company, because the company would say ki hangama ekku chestundi ani ammayi lekapote she's really going hyper, and so why should we recommend her for another job? So in order to get a referral letter, these girls were not complaining, and I found a few girls quitting their jobs because they said that the boss is harassing me. The internal complaint committee is under the boss, and definitely I'm not going to get justice here. So we found that they were leaving the jobs because of that. So that was the reason why we started the POSH help desk here. It's to many girls didn't know how to complain, whom to complain to, and they didn't know what kind of options they had from the criminal point of view, from the criminal law point of view also. So then the POSH help desk is to create awareness. If somebody does not have an internal complaint committee, then, and she's complaining that she doesn't have an internal complaint committee to complain to, then we reach out to the concerned company and we ask them to form committees. There is quite a huge chunk of in the corporate sector which has not yet formed internal complaint committees, and that's a matter of concern. And then supposing somebody says that my complaint committee is there, but they really don't know how to conduct the inquiry, and I feel I might not get justice here, we take a look at how the complaint committee is reacting, responding, etc., etc., and we try to guide them if they are open to guidance. And then we create awareness programs in companies, whichever wants an awareness program on POSH session.
Normally, women employees are worried about retaliation.
Yes.
So how
Yes.
is that handled? What is something that you would say to such techies especially?
I think basic bottom line of all this is not to tolerate anything wrong, which people think they can perpetrate with you and get away with it. So whether it is harassment or whether it is retaliation, you have to call it out. And here I'm not talking just about sexual harassment. Again, I'm talking about somebody groping or flashing somebody. The idea is even for girls to speak up and to say that, yes, this is what is happening with me. Can I get some help? And then see how she can escalate, where she can escalate it. She need not go to the police each time. because I don't expect women to walk into a police station each time. Yes, we have she teams. The best thing about Telangana is that we have different reporting mechanisms of she teams, Bharosa centers, which can handle it. And maybe that's the reason why the number of complaints in Telangana are high, and why people think that, the number of crimes against women is very high. We have robust reporting mechanisms, and that's why we have a good number of complaints, which is a matter of pride, I would say.
Normally, women are scared that a police complaint means something, it would affect their career, or how should they balance this?
This is one common issue which we face, particularly with married women who have been either the victims of harassment at workplace, because they do feel that they don't want to take this back home and talk to their husbands about this. But I strongly feel that they must flag these issues with their husbands and parents wherever they get an opportunity, because to deal with this entire trauma of harassment alone is not required. And when they talk to their husbands about it, I do feel that the husbands will understand. It's not that the husbands will not understand or blame them for it. And I wish that they can have better communication at home, and it is to create a supportive environment for themselves.
What do you think about teen dating?
I think it's too premature, and I think teen dating,
it's a thing now.
I think it's a thing now, and it's unfortunate because the youngsters really, do they know what they're looking for? Are they looking for friendship? Are they looking for fun? What is it that they're looking for? Are they clear in their heads about what they actually want? And for girls particularly, where is it going? Is it going to an extent that somebody is asking you to strip for them? Is it going to an extent where somebody is asking you to share intimate videos of yourself? And are you so sure that that person is not going to misuse it? Girls really need to watch out for themselves, and the same is for boys also, because we find a lot of violence being perpetrated with boys also, whether it's by gays or by transgenders. We find a lot of violence being perpetrated from all communities or amongst all communities.
So, teen dating itself, as per law, it's wrong, because if there is, we have POCSO case as well, it can go against them. So what do you have to advise to young boys and girls on that?
I think the most important thing for boys and girls to understand is, don't get into this area till you're an adult. And I think focus on first building a career for yourselves, becoming independent, and standing on your feet before you go into an area of relationships, much before you're an adult. And you can always explore things after you become an adult, but get into a career first, stand on your feet, and then when you feel that yes, you're mature enough to handle a relationship now, that's the time when you should get into it, rather than trying to explore things at the age of 13, 14, 15. When you're young, you really don't know how it's going to go, and you're doing it out of peer pressure or just for fun.
At home, normally how we treat mothers is a reflection of how we are going to be outside, right? So what would you advise young men and also fathers also to, when in the approach that they take towards treating their mothers or sisters?
So everything starts from home. The entire conditioning of boys and girls starts from home. So that's exactly where the Stand With Her campaign comes in. In fact, on 8th, we have a panel discussion on right parenting. And that's where we are going to call out this the entire atmosphere at home, which creates a difference in perception, and it creates patriarchal double standards for men and women. So everything starts from home, and it's not just respect for mothers. It's not just if a father tells his son, you've got to be respectful towards your mother. That's not enough. Fathers, by their behavior towards their wives, actually serve as models for the boy and the girl. So he may say you have to be respectful to your mother, but if he is bashing up his wife frequently, or he is being disrespectful to her, or he's throwing things at her, he's not listening to her, he doesn't involve her in decision making, children catch all this and then they model it. So if that's what a boy and a girl, they find that this is how fathers behave towards mothers, the boy is going to copy that, and the girl is going to expect that from her husband. So here, what is very important for us is the kind of parents and what models they, put up before their kids.
Now it's going to be festival season in Telangana, Bonalu, Vinayak Chavithi,
Yeah.
Navratri and all.
Yeah.
And last year we have seen a lot of incidents where she teams caught men who were misbehaving in public places. What do you have to say to those guys and also the women who are in such crowded places?
One of the very good things about she teams, which I really like, is the naming and the shaming. That when they call these guys, it's not just the guy, but his family also, which is called for the counseling. So the family also knows that this is what their son is doing. In fact, we have 50, 52-year-old men who indulge in eve teasing, and we call their wives and their children for counseling. And that, you can imagine what a shame it is for him. And I'm sure he's not going to do that again. So the naming and shaming part is important. For girls in crowded places, they have to learn how to get into crowds and navigate through the crowd. So how do they do it? Do they carry a bag with them? So that they can hold the bag like this and they're not touched? But that doesn't happen. Crowded places, misbehavior, particularly groping, unfortunately is very common. And they will have to be very careful to ensure that they don't go alone in crowds. I would suggest that when women go into crowds, it is with a group of friends, could be family, could be anyone. When you're a group, it's easier to navigate into a crowd, but going alone is something which I would not advise women. And for boys, if you really think that you can go out into a crowd and you feel entitled enough and you feel that you have the right to touch any woman you want, you're absolutely wrong. There are she teams around, and if not today, you're going to get caught tomorrow. So you have better watch out.
You did caution women there, but is there one thing that men should do which will make women feel safer so she can go alone?
If you find that there is a woman around you in a crowd and she's uncomfortable because somebody is standing too close or rubbing against her, you definitely can tell that guy that please thoda sa bazu hato, thoda pakkane jargandi, and she's uncomfortable. And you can tell the girl, ma'am, why don't you come here? And you'll be safer on this side with my friends or my family. You can be safer this side. So I would request the men to be watchful of misbehavior around them with women and speak up.
You have seen corruption, you have seen Naxalism, factionism, you have seen terrorism as well. When you have worked for the nation and when you come back and look at the petty things that people, our Indians do, how do you feel about it?
I feel concerned, and I feel that I must do my bit to see what can be done to change the mindsets. And that's why programs like Stand With Her, the Posh Help Desk, where our only task is to advise women and tell them what their options are. But I would like to do that.
You worked in Naxal areas and you did face your men were kidnapped. Today, government announced that OLWE is almost wiped out. So as someone who has contributed towards that, how do you feel when the nation is moving to that side?
It's a big relief. Because all these movements, whether it's Naxalism or terrorism, they harm the nation building tremendously. They really prevent the state or the nation from moving forward in several ways. And it's a big relief whenever it gets over in any part of the country.
Has your take changed on factionism? Has modern factionism evolved?
No, I don't think so. Because the factionism, what we saw in its form, I really don't see that coming up in a different form now. My concern today mainly is with what's happening online. And that is disturbing also, because it's a reflection of the mindset. Again, I come back to the mindset and the gender conditioning of our youngsters when they were growing up and what they have seen in their lives and grown up to become like this.
I'll conclude it by asking you one question. You have 3 years of service left. What is something that you want to do, an initiative or an impact that you want to do in the next 3 years?
I think if I can do anything more to change mindsets and to go down to districts, to villages, to be able to have conversations with families, with boys and girls, I'll be very happy to do that. We have started something called the Safe Village Program. We are covering 7 districts and 126 villages, but it doesn't cover all the districts and all the villages. So we've started conversations here with young children, adolescents and adults. But we have a long way to go. It's just a drop in the ocean.
That's all we had for today. Thank you, ma'am,
Thank
for
you.
joining us.
Thank you.